which bleachers are you talking about?
Wrigley Field. You mean it's a Major League Park. You think they would have planned that in the offseason? Hey, we need to get the seats finished.
Well, I think they're saving it for being done about the same time the Cubs are, probably around June.
And that's and I heard speculation that they postponed that game last night just so they could get more revenue for those seats and fix the bathroom problem.
Well, I heard there were 3-hour lines for the bathrooms and stuff?
But still, you think about that couldn't work. Who's going to wait 3 hours to take a whiz at a stadium before you just pee on something?
Well, that's true. Oh, hey, everyone. Welcome back. It's the Liquor Cabinet. We're live. Murphy's on 21 Wednesday night. I'm Murph. Standing by is
Ernie.
Hi. Welcome back, Ernie. Yeah. We got a show this week. Last week, we took the week off. Dirty wasn't here last week. Again.
We're going to cut him some slack on that. He had a family emergency he had to attend to.
Well, all right. Family emergencies are family emergencies, and I can fully appreciate that. I've got no problem at all with him taking a night or two off. Where's he at this week, though? That's the big question.
Well, apparently,
Jacko the Clown Man's not here.
Well, the real story I got, his company expected him to work, and he had to ride a garbage truck today.
You mean he didn't do this for a living like us?
No.
Oh, dirty.
So,
you got to rework that contract, pal.
So sometime right around 2:30, something like that, he was exhausted from flinging trash.
Oh, well, that could be that could be tough.
Garbage is a young man's game.
And he's got to be back, at like 6 a.m. do the garbage stuff?
Yeah, he had 3 runs or so. He told me numbers, and I don't know exactly what that means. I got to get the scoop from him as to how.
So I guess we'll check off the agenda this week. Trash talking with Dirty's not happening.
Yeah.
All right. What is happening this week? Give us a rundown of what we got to look forward to. Look right in that camera and tell everyone at home.
What we're looking for this week?
Yeah, give us a quick rundown of what we can talk about, what we expect to have people talk about tonight.
Well, we're going to talk about crying wolf when it comes to rape charges. We are going to talk about irresponsible media when it comes to anything, and primarily response to the Rolling Stone story, debacle, whatever you want to talk about. And I would like to discuss are speed traps legal?
Speed traps?
Yes.
Okay, that's an interesting one. Speed traps, we haven't talked about that before. What do you define as a speed trap?
Anything that is specifically set up for a municipality to make money off of it, to catch people breaking the law. Now, I get it. You're breaking the law, you got to pay the fine. But I've been to some place, and again, I travel for a living, so I've been to some places where it goes from 70 to 55, and you don't see a sign until it's too late.
Sure. And we've seen even like with the Ferguson stuff here in the St. Louis area, they were talking about the idea that a lot of these municipalities are really pushing not just the racial profiling part, but they exist simply for the purpose of collecting revenue from the speed traps, or as they call them. But is it a speed trap if you're simply speeding? Where do you draw the line?
Well, there are some highways I've been on. Not every state has adopted the 70-mile-an-hour highway policy, and some states are still at 55, 65, what have you. And you get on a 4-lane interstate that is straight as it can be for hours on end. Eventually, you're going to see how fast your car will go before the governor cuts out. But, there's spots like that where cops can sit and it's fine. But there's other times when it's fairly obvious to me that it's like St. George in St. Louis was definitely a speed trap.
Sure, 1 mile an hour over.
Yes, and it went from 45 down to 25 on a 4-lane road.
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, if your municipality is existing solely because of speeding violations, then yeah, that's a speed trap and a pretty obvious one. Question is, should that be allowed, or should something be done about that?
Well, it all depends on where you're at and what you're doing. It's no, it should not be allowed to simply change the speed without notification or speed changes up ahead kind of sign, in my opinion. That should be a fair warning thing. Mm-hmm. If you miss the sign, that's kind of on you. But if it's flat out shady, yeah, I agree with you. That should be not a good thing. That should be outlawed.
There's a lot of other ways they can make up the revenue if the speeding is that important to them, such as enforce the handicap parking issue, enforce the no parking, no stopping, no standing. I'm referring to the dance moms down the street that are all just parking on the curb and I mean, I've seen them. They can't walk that far. They might.
The fire lane stuff, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I would like to see the fire lane enforced more than a speed trap.
Oh, that's true. And folks, if you got something to say or you want to weigh in, call us 385-2-DRINK-1. The number's right down here at the bottom of the screen, going across over towards Ernie. 385-2-DRINK-1. That's 385-237-4651. Taking your calls live. We're on YouTube. It's Wednesday night, Liquor Cabinet. It's you can find us on the internet all the time. Find out exactly when we're going to be on and when we're not. It's liquorcabinettv.com is the website. But 385-2-DRINK-1. We want to hear from somebody. We want somebody to call in this week.
Someone.
It'd be nice.
Get
Dirty,
a cop sitting in a speed trap. That'd be nice.
you think Dirty's listening tonight? Dirty, are you out there? Dirty, can you hear me?
He's probably sitting in a bathtub full of Bengay.
Ruby, can you hear me? Me.
Insult injury.
Just kidding. Ruby, you out there? We love you, pal. I hope you're feeling better, man. That echo in your ears, that wasn't you. That was the computer, man.
Damn.
What?
Thanks for your help.
Oh, I'm just kidding. We might have that echo out there tonight. I have no idea. I could be talking
And
smack.
I hope Ruby comes and kicks you square in the nuts. And I hope it echoes.
It could echo very loudly. It's hard to say. But we'll talk about, so that was just one of our quick topics. We got a few other quick topics to talk about. Manhattan Supreme Court allowed a woman to serve her husband divorce papers via Facebook.
I got a problem with that.
What's the problem?
Well, I get on Facebook 3-4 days, and I imagine this would have to be some sort of private message.
I would think so, yeah.
And you'd have to have receipt that somebody got the paperwork.
But you can see on Facebook that message was received moments ago or what time
How do you
they
know
got
he
it.
was the one looking at it?
To his Facebook, he should have a private login, you would
He
assume.
should, but not always. Some people share a Facebook page.
Well, it's no different than a sheriff serving papers. If he walks up or justice of the court, whatever.
And a server verifies who you are before they have you sign for the papers.
No, they don't verify who you are. They ask you, are you Ernie? Here, you're served.
Yeah.
That's not verifying anything. I can say, yeah, my name's Ernie too. Wait, no, I'm not that Ernie.
Well, then you would be, never mind.
I'd be a real idiot. You're right. I'd be a fool to call myself Ernie. But you understand what I'm saying, though. The verification process is minimal. Now, my question about that is simply, why is it okay over Facebook, but has anyone ever been served by telephone? Has anyone ever been served by mail? I thought a process server always had to be a face-to-face transaction.
Yes, that's what I thought.
So if that's the case, not a big fan of this idea of the spin in technology. I mean, by that logic, I guess you could probably serve someone by Skype or here on YouTube just by holding up the official, you've been served, you've seen it, and I've got video that you're on the other end watching. So if it's just a visual context.
I mean, it's better being served via TV commercial or billboard, I guess.
Well, and in this world, I mean, we're dealing with so much corruption and so much dishonesty and so much just crap in general that it's amazing we still have a faith in anyone to do their job when it comes to a civil process. I myself, I'm a notary public here in the state of Missouri, but a notary doesn't mean anything. All I'm doing is saying
Just
you
means you're a
actually signed
stand-up
that.
guy.
All I'm doing is saying you've actually signed that. Hey, we got a call coming in.
No way.
We do. Let's see.
Get out.
I'm assured it has nothing to do with the show, but let's go live. You're on the liquor cabinet. What are you drinking?
Hey, what's going on? Oh, am I on live?
Yeah.
Don't put me on the
You're on
radio.
the liquor cabinet. What are you drinking?
Oh, I'm drinking water.
Is it good water?
Sure.
Bullshit. There's no such thing.
Okay, I'm not drinking anything. Call me back later, I guess.
Well, you're on the show. You got to talk now. This is live on YouTube.
Oh, now I got to talk. All right, well, okay.
What's your name, caller?
I didn't know you were doing the show right now. I didn't expect you to pick up and have me be on the radio. I'm not drinking because I'm driving.
That's good policy.
And I wouldn't
Watch
do
out for
that
speed
because,
traps.
I might spill my drink.
Watch out for speed traps. Say hi to Ernie here, too.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
Hey.
So, nice.
Bite. Who the hell is this?
Well, I just wanted to ask you real quick, Murph. I'm about to drive by Zydeco Blues. Do you want me to stop by there and say hi to them? Or
Sure.
okay, who's the person you've been talking to up there?
You know we're live on the internet. Right? Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah, talk personal stuff. We should probably wait till after the show.
He was trying to do that. You kept him
Well,
on.
No, I'm saying let's talk about the show. I didn't say.
I didn't hear your person anyway. All right.
What are you wearing, caller?
What?
What are you wearing?
What do you
What am
normally
I
wear to
wearing?
drive, Ernie?
I'm wearing very tight jeans.
That's hot.
I know that's encouraging to you, Ernie.
You got a good safe driving thong on?
What? I'm wearing very tight jeans and thinking about Santino.
That is hot. Santino.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Santino.
Morello.
Oh,
I think.
the wrestler.
Morello?
Morella.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can't
Yes.
pronounce his name right.
All right. Well, we're going to take a different caller, I think, because you're
That's
not very
probably
entertaining for a
that's
caller.
probably a good idea.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up. Must be a tunnel on your end. Thanks for calling.
Who the hell was that?
That was Crazy Hair Andy.
Ah,
Crazy Hair Andy. Karaoke singer supreme.
the comic shop guy from
And
Big Bang.
unintentionally, we just figured out our phone-in system actually works. Man, you talk about, we're like Wayne's World level now. We have callers. Even if they don't know they're calling,
Yeah,
we've
they
got
had
callers.
Alice Cooper.
Eventually.
Yeah.
That wasn't until TV producer Rob Lowe came in. Don't be TV producer Rob Lowe.
No, but like I say, they had Alice Cooper, and we have
That should have been one of our quick thoughts.
Louisiana douchebag.
DirecTV's canceled that campaign with Rob Lowe.
Did they?
They did. Came out earlier today, or earlier this week, I guess. I think it was today. Might have been yesterday. Comcast filed suit against them, potentially saying they were. Actually, I guess it wasn't quite suit. It was more of a complaint. And the Better Business Bureau and the FTC both said, well, these things you're saying about better picture quality and more reliable service, you can't really prove those. So you can't say those in your message. So now every media outlet in America has picked up. DirecTV's campaign has been terminated. So now DirecTV has press in every media outlet in America for free.
Well, I'm getting ready to drop DirecTV.
For what reason?
I've had the service for a month, and the controller takes forever to change a channel, pull up a menu, what have you. It's a RF/radio remote, which means if you have a universal, one of those really nice remote, you can't program it because it doesn't recognize radio. And they're video on demand.
Well, that's an easy one. That's an easy fix on the RF radio thing. That literally is in the menu settings. You can go to the remote setup and you can change it back to IR instead of RF.
Okay. I will look for that.
That's very simple. That's a quick, easy fix. The RF is simply if you have like a cabinet where you keep your components or you don't have line of sight to the box, you can still use RF. So if you have the box, say, mirrored to your bedroom, you'll want it on RF so you can turn the channel from the bedroom.
Okay.
But if you have it where you can see the box, you don't have to worry about it.
But
there's your
my biggest complaint, they should not be able to call that service video on demand.
Why not?
Because you don't find a movie and click, I'm going to watch this. As most movies on demand go, you don't really know what you're going to watch until you just start rifling through the menus, correct?
That's probably true, but you're also dealing with the idea of video on demand. There's two different levels of video on demand. Is your box a DVR box? Can you record TV shows on your DirecTV box?
Yes.
That's a DVR box, so you're good to go there. Which means you do have video on demand. You just don't know what is all video on demand. A lot of your pay-per-views and such, when they're on the video on demand channels, what happens is it automatically records the feed to your DVR overnight, and in the hopes that you'll buy it and watch it, it's there for when you push a button, it's hit locally, even without internet. The other video online channels, which is where it gets confusing, the video online channels, those are the ones that use your internet signal, and they want to buffer and download the shows and then let you watch them, which is probably where you're going to complain.
Okay. No. This complaint hasn't even come to fruition yet. So
I was anticipating. Okay.
Every watch on demand, the regular movies, you start watching it, it'll pop right up, and you can watch. I think around 7 before it just freezes up and says buffering. So I called up direct. And
that's your internet connection.
And they said, "Well, I've got the fastest internet in the area."
Could be Charter throttling. There might be some chicanery going on here because your internet's through Charter, which is another video service. They could be limiting the speed.
All right. I'll get to that. I'll address that in a moment as well. So I call the people at Direct, and I left a less than professional email on their contact page, and their defense, they called me back within, I don't know, 3 days. And he explains to me, it's like, well, you've got to select the movie to record it, and it'll download it, then you can watch it. So I find a show that it's an hour-long show, and I set it to download. 4 days later, 4 days, I was at 80%.
Okay.
And I think it finally finished downloading last night. A 1 hour show. That's not on demand. That's a load of crap. I mean, I could have Netflix mail me the discs faster than that. So you were saying it could be a bandwidth thing.
It could be. I mean, there's a possibility. That's what
Netflix still works fine.
But that's what the whole net neutrality thing was about, as far as paying for service and limiting service to other providers. Because now Charter's own video on demand is very similar to that setup, as far as allowing you via the internet to download shows and actually stream them, almost like we are on YouTube right now. It's IPTV based for a lot of the digital channels. But when you're pulling up video on demand, it's not a stream. Like right now, if you join the show, it's 8:17 Central Time, and if you're watching right now, you're seeing this as a live feed. If you're watching it later, it's buffering and loading to your browser so you can watch on it today. Which, if you're watching right now, call us and let us know. The number's right there on the bottom of the TV screen again. I love doing that. Just point to things. There they are. But as far as when you're dealing with the DirecTV portion, it's still trying to buffer hard drive. And net neutrality was talking about, can the network provider, in this case Charter's the internet provider, can they say you can get Netflix signals faster than DirecTV's if Netflix wants to pay Charter a little bit more to allow it? That was where conflict, the problem came in. It wasn't saying, here's a road and as fast as your car can go, go. It was saying, here's a road, and if you want to pay more, your car can go faster than his. That was the problem in net neutrality. That's why I think it's a good thing the FCC stepped in when they did, because there's a lot of converse thoughts about the idea of whether you're dealing with free market versus government regulation.
Pay to play.
And it literally is the big boys. You know, when
you could be snuffed out just because you can't afford to.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there'd be no such thing as a startup anymore. It'd be the bigger, just keep getting bigger.
Right.
Before long, it'd be a matter of, when did Walmart want to buy the internet?
Do they want to?
No, it's a matter of when do they want to, if you don't have net neutrality.
I'm hip.
And granted, that's in effect only for the U.S., but the majority of internet content comes from the U.S.
There is a chance, and here's a cheap, shameless plug, that I was spoiled by Uverse, and I want them back. They're not in my area, though. They don't come up the gravel road.
Uverse, another IPTV-based thing. It's not. You're not dealing with Uverse being the same thing as Charter is. I mean, it's similar, but AT&T, now that they're in the TV game, and there's the kicker you're going to have to deal with. AT&T and DirecTV are now the same company.
That's why I ended up with DirecTV, because, well, and there's that installation. There's a lot of charges that were.
I don't think the whole thing's gone through yet. I haven't looked at that in a while, but you're scheduled to go through, I think, late this spring. I'm hearing sometime in May, if I remember correctly.
Direct was the satellite I had, and that was back in Kansas and a long time ago, and loved it. And it is just, and they've told, you know, the other complaints I've had with everything being slow, that's a known issue. We're working on that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to cancel the service for much longer. I'm on a 2-year agreement. So what happens there if I've got all these complaints where it's not living up to my expectations, not living up to their promises, but can they still hit me for that 2-year contract, or how's that going to work, you think?
Well, they absolutely can. If you sign up for a 2-year commitment, there's nothing that says you can break your commitment because you're not happy with the service. As long as they're honoring their minimums and what they guaranteed you, you're pretty much locked in. What aren't they honoring?
Well, it's the on-demand stuff and the lag. Because I asked about lag coming over to satellite. They said there's no lag whatsoever.
What are you defining as lag again?
Just in any like just pulling the menu up.
That's usually
not the menu, but the channel guide.
Yeah, and that happens even here at the bar. We have issues where you hit the button and it takes it 30 seconds for the menu to come up, kind of thing. That's usually a firmware issue that sometimes can be upgraded. Sometimes they upgrade the software. Sometimes there's a flaw in the system, and there's no direct fault at. It's not, quote, the service. It's not, quote, the hardware. It is a software glitch where it's just looping itself or taking a minute to go, wait a minute, what does he really want? I've got all this other crap I've got to go through, and finally I can throw up the menu that he wants to see. You can have those same issues with AT&T. You have those same issues with Charter. It's not exclusive. I do believe DirecTV is onto something, and they might even be willing to admit they're onto something with the whole idea of their picture is a better picture quality up to 1080p. They're saying that was part of the Rob Lowe commercials they were allowed to say, but the idea that the better picture quality is somewhat relative, that's not true. They even from a technical perspective should have a better picture quality. Dish Network should be in the same boat with them. Depends on the compression levels, but you're talking with AT&T and Charter. Both of those are finite bandwidth limits on how many channels they can put across the pipe because they're a direct connection over a cable to your house. With DirecTV, you're talking it's a broadband delivery in a wireless sense, but the deal is because it's a satellite picture, you can send out one bandwidth signal and every house should be able to pick up the same quality signal versus when you're on a finite pipe, the more people that are watching it, you can only push so much through that pipe. And if they're pulling at the other end, yeah, I don't know how to explain on the DirecTV side, but imagine it's a sprinkler. Imagine it's an old style sprinkler where you got a little bar across it and a bunch of little holes on it, and you got 15 people wanting to drink of water at one time, but you only got 10 holes. You got 5 in there. Give me some of that. And it's the way it's limited.
In California, you got no water.
There you go. You got to turn it off to conserve.
Yeah.
But you just slow it down a little bit versus DirecTV all the time because it's coming in over a wireless spectrum, almost like your radio signal. It doesn't matter how many people are listening to a radio station, they all get the exact.
Yeah.
Versus,
I called in, and the people for the most part are pretty friendly when they talk to me, and they try to be understanding and polite, and I don't buy that. Yeah, that's a known problem. Sorry, nothing we can do about it. That.
And you're right. I mean, there's a little bit of challenge as far as you're never going to be happy with any of these services. And I learned this when I worked for WorldCom 15 years ago. They don't care if they lose you as a customer because they know the next company is just going to push you off as much and you'll come back.
And again, I
don't understand the corporate logic of the customers you have and take care of the customers you have, but they do it. That's
like it's just stop expensive and just continue to get cheaper as you go.
Pretty much reward the loyalty. Yeah. Stop jacking up prices. Make new customers pay more every year.
No,
but if you're with them, grandfather them in, keep them at the same price.
Every problem I've had with the AT&T Universe, they have rectified, take care of me, and I have no complaints.
Bartender, can you hit me?
Clear or brown?
I'll go with the clear. I'm not sure what's in the brown.
Well, it's a Budweiser.
Oh, you're talking about the bottles. Okay.
Yeah.
You throw me off every now and then you start just talking colors like that.
You want a clear one?
Yeah.
Enjoy, sir.
I like things I can see right through. All right.
Okay.
Next golden line.
So, I guess that.
But in my opinion, just to wrap it up in a nutshell, as far as service, as far as picture quality, I still think DirecTV is top of the line. Dish Network would be second. Charter would be third, and Uverse would be dead last for me. Now, it doesn't mean you're not going to get better on-demand type stuff. And perspective is everything. But that's just my opinion as far as the picture quality channel lineups. Features, options.
Like it really matter. The picture quality, it all looks like shit to me.
Well, we might as well put a paper clip in your antenna hole and let you go.
That would work.
It does for a lot of people.
Okay.
What you got next, boss?
Moving right along. Okay, that's covered where Dirty's at. He's at home, or he's on a garbage truck.
Dirty, I'm begging you, call in, man. If you're out there watching, call in. You see the number right down there. It's 385. Oh, right here. Sorry, I almost went too far. I went off camera. 385-2-DRINK-1. It's an easy number to remember. If you can translate it to the phone, or if you don't, it's 385-237-4651. We write it right there on the screen for you. Right below that, you go down one more line, and there it is.
I'm really curious. I wonder if like his day is really like the Men at Work movie.
It could be.
I hope not.
You think, is he Emilio Estevez or is he Charlie Sheen?
Well, he damn sure got the black dude riding around with him.
Well, no, that's the driver. He's always on the phone. How's he going to be driving when he's always on the phone? He's on the phone every time except for when we're on the air. Where's his mom? She should be calling in too. Dirty's mom, if you're watching, I want to hear from you.
Okay.
We could call her. I've got her number.
No, she's probably naked in the bathtub.
Wait, did I just say I have Dirty Mom's number?
I-
Oops. I didn't mean it. All right. So what else we got? Sports scores.
okay.
What do you want to know about sports scores?
Well, no, I was.
They usually indicate who won.
Well, I mean, all good radio shows, they have the scores, and so I figured it would be no different. This is a Major League Baseball scores from yesterday. In Major League Baseball yesterday, the scores were 12-2, 6-5, 5-2, 6-7, 3-1, 2-0, 7-3.
There you have it. Your sports minute complete.
There
Thank
you
you,
go.
Ernie.
And I like Lucky Lady in the fourth down at Belmont.
Hopefully, you'll have a few more scores for us next week.
Yeah, what's going on? I might even, if there's time, we could probably work in hockey scores.
You know what? Next week could be an interesting show. I may not be here live. I might have to call in and file a video report.
Where are you going to be?
I'm going to be in Las Vegas,
Cauliflower
Nevada.
Alley.
Cauliflower Alley. Yes, sir.
50th anniversary.
CauliflowerAlley.org. If you're not familiar, if you're a wrestling fan, a boxing fan, or ever have been, well worth checking out. It's a fraternal organization for retired boxers, retired wrestlers, and sometimes some of the guys get down their luck a little bit, and the company or the organization throws them a few bucks to help out with medical bills and help them get back on their feet. And more so, it's just a great organization to reminisce with. It's next week I'll be meeting Dusty Rhodes for the first time. I'll be seeing Diamond Dallas Page again. We got Jerry Briscoe will be there. His brother Jack passed away a couple years ago, but he was one of the stooges in WWE during Attitude Era with Pat Patterson.
Well, we went a couple years ago, and that, to me, the neatest part was I sat and played 3-card poker with Harley Race
Yes.
and his wife.
And now you see why he's
God
the
bless
champ.
her, but yeah, that was really neat because it's. And I've said this before about the WrestleMania party we were lucky enough to attend. That it was a room full of all the wrestlers and none of the characters, which is, if you're a wrestling fan, that's can either wreck it or make it for you.
Yeah, and it's a great couple days. I'm going out on Tuesday. I'll be back on Thursday, so it'll only be a 2-day trip for me. The Bologna blowout. I was thoroughly impressed by 5 years ago when we went. I really expected it to be more of a Bologna blowout, which traditionally it's that goes back to the times when wrestlers were traveling in territories and undercard guys didn't have a nickel to spend. Mm-hmm. They were sleeping in their cars, kind of thing. They get together, buy a pound of bologna, a loaf of bread, and they'd all eat on the trunk of the car. Ketchup, that was a bonus. And the bologna blowout, that was very, very nicely done. The Gold Coast Hotel put a really nice spread together for that. And then the banquet itself, the main banquet. What's that?
That was good food, wasn't it?
Very. For being it was more like deli trays in general, but they did a really good job with it. I was expecting somebody to be up there cutting off. And you got to remember, too, I've never had good luck with like a loaf of bologna. I mean, I've had sliced bologna before, but you got to remember as a kid, I had a stepdad.
A bologna wedge.
Well, kind of, yeah. I had a stepdad who was man. I don't know really how to phrase it, but the guy, I love him dearly. He was dad to me. He was not my biological father, but he was a redneck as they come. And you got to remember, we used to pack coolers and go on our family vacations, and we drive around. We drove down to Florida one year. We drove to Wisconsin Dells. We never flew. We drove everywhere. And I've been to Washington, D.C. I've been down to Florida. I've been up north to the Canadian border at the Wisconsin Dells. And, just wherever we went, we always drove. And there was one summer, one vacation. This is what the bologna blowout scared the hell out of me for this reason. On one of our vacations, we had a cooler with lunch meat in it. We had bread, we had bologna, we had, sodas, that kind of thing. And the bologna was a loaf of bologna, just like a big old sausage stick. And we stopped. We were sitting in the park. Everybody's getting a rest, stretching their legs, stretching their back, all that stuff. A couple of us got hungry. Now, keep in mind, this is the same guy who didn't like kids in general, even though he took on 3 of them in his new marriage to my mother. I'm the youngest of 3, and notorious, one of the favorite stories, or one of the stories that sticks with me anyway. Castle, because we kept asking for White Castle, we all got to go to White Castle, and we all got one. We all got one White Castle. That was his way. There, shut up. You got it.
That's it. As a stepfather, it's one of those where you just drive into yourself.
Pretty much. He thought he kind of was. But back to the bologna thing. This is the problem with this story, and this is why her death of the bologna blowout was. I don't know which trip it was, but I do remember the trip. We're all sitting at the rest stop, and everybody's stretching their legs and stuff, and he's over just kind of picking his fingernails and stuff. And somebody said, I think it was my mom, let's have sandwiches while we're stopped and get the stuff out. He didn't want to. If he didn't want to, Dad kind of gets his way. And I'm sure at some point you're going to be able to transition this into some of my own personal character flaws. But anyway, he was sitting there, you know, kind of cleaning his nails and stuff. He's like, all right, fine, we'll eat. And he gets the cooler out, pulls the bread out, pulls the bologna out. And it turns out he was over there cleaning his nails out with his pocket knife. And he took that same pocket knife done from cleaning his nails and started cutting the bologna and put it on the sandwiches. And there's your lunch. And then went back to cleaning his nails with that pocket knife.
I'm picturing half-inch slabs of bologna on bread.
Pretty much. Can you imagine cutting bologna, a big old fucking honking log? Pardon the F word. But
there's $1.
Yep, I gotta pay the kitty. But can you imagine cutting that with a little pocket knife? Ooh.
Well, you referenced he was the term you use hillbilly as they come, or
redneck. Redneck's what I said.
He was on par with Herb. I mean, I assume we're talking about Larry.
Yeah, it was Larry, and it was a step below Herb, my current stepdad. Herb's not redneck. Herb's just Hoosier. There's a difference.
Herb's a gem.
I love Herb. Don't get me wrong. I love Larry too. And God bless any man that can make my mom happy, because her 3 boys have tried and tried and tried. And while she's proud of us, I'm not sure any of us ever made her happy.
Well, in all seriousness, when it comes to Larry and Herb, D.L. Hughley said it best. It takes a real man to raise someone else's kids.
That's true.
So, to Herb and Larry.
Well, yeah. You got to wonder what mom was offering him to make him want to.
I know your mom, that.
You don't have to go there because I don't want to hear it.
Whoo! I imagine that.
So what's your next topic? What's your next topic?
Next topic is things Murph's mom does.
You can't add topics on the fly, Jared.
That'll be next week. How does Miss Murphy keep a husband?
She's never been divorced. I'll give her that.
No, she kills him.
She didn't kill him. She just wears him out.
No,
she's a trying woman. I love her dearly. And she does try.
No, the best part about your mom is she can shut you and your brothers up like that.
Oh yeah, she's
verbally.
She's got control of the situation. There's no doubt about that.
So anyway, control of the situation, lack of control of the situation. Have you heard of Tyler Cost? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Is it Cost or Coast?
Wait. We missed one of our quick fives.
Oh, my bad.
We got to go quick with it too, because we're 12 minutes to the end of the show, people. If you're like our first real viewer, call in. Let us know. Tell us you appreciate something. It doesn't have to be us.
Suck out loud.
Give us a reason to stop doing the show and wasting bandwidth. There was a marriage. Gary Keefe got married
to
his client.
Who was? I love a wedding.
Was his boyfriend. Now it's his husband.
And
his husband now?
We got 12 minutes, sir.
Oh, all right. So this is a shocker, right? That Barry Manilow is married to a man now.
Who saw that coming?
Everybody at the Copacabana.
At the
His name's not Lola. He's not a showgirl, I don't think.
Have you seen pictures of him lately?
No. He looked very plasticky the last time I saw him, but that was like 10 years ago.
Bigger than shit. You know, he's wow.
Like 10 years ago. And I like me some Barry Manilow. The guy can write a song.
Can he?
Oh,
is he better than Neil Diamond?
You know the McDonald's jingle, "You Deserve a Break Today"? That was Barry Manilow, one of his finest works. From the 80s.
I stand corrected.
70s, 80s, whatever it was.
Barry.
Touche. Mazel tov to Barry and your husband. I think it's Mazel tov. Is that right?
I think he's a bottom.
But he's Jewish, isn't he? Yeah?
Well, he's a singer from the 60s and 70s. Of course he's Jewish.
Well, anyone thought he was gay when he was playing the bathhouses with Bette Midler in the 70s of New York City?
No, I think
I don't think they allowed straight people in the bathhouse.
Well, no, I don't. It wasn't discussed there. I mean, you're talking about a time when.
No, it wasn't discussed. Sex with a dude. That's the way it worked.
Okay. We don't have time to get into liberty.
I mean, I'm not so sure Bette Midler's not a man. I'm just saying.
Oh, she's a lady.
She almost falls in that Wendy Williams category.
No. I bet Midler's hot.
But you agree there is a Wendy Williams category, right?
Well, there's a category for everybody.
Right, but
Wendy Williams 3 or 4.
Wendy Williams, come on. That's a man, baby. She's got an Adam's apple bigger than me and you put together.
So you're saying she's manlier than RuPaul?
RuPaul. Then I think if her and RuPaul got married, that'd be like a reverse heterosexual marriage.
Well,
So I think one thinks it's a girl, the other thinks it's a guy. If they got together, that would just confuse the entire dichotomy of gay marriage.
Let me ask you this: say you were framed for murder, and you're in prison for the rest of your life, no chance of parole. RuPaul is your cellmate. Would you hit it?
Nope. But I wouldn't turn down a blowjob.
That's us keeping it classy.
That's right.
Yes,
hey, if that's all you got, you got to work within the parameters of what you got.
Okay, segueing on turning down a blowjob. You heard of Tyler Coast? I don't know how to say that.
Cost, I think.
Cost.
K-O-S-T. Yeah. Tyler K-O-S-T. I haven't heard a whole lot about him. Apparently, I haven't even read the story yet. I sent that out hoping you were.
Yeah, I was reading the original story from 2012. I was taken in, and yeah, there was
apparently the charges he raped 12 women. He came forward.
Charged me rape. They basically what happens. He spent a year in prison, and they've found that it was a conspiracy just to get with him for cheating on one of his girlfriends.
Now, is that what they found, or is that what the lawyer's claiming? There's a difference there. Is that his defense strategy for being a male hoe, just for sleeping around?
They're wanting to have Facebook posts admitted into court. And, that guy, I don't know how you'd subpoena somebody's Facebook. I guess that would be
probably the same way you serve divorce papers.
Could they do that?
If they can serve divorce papers over Facebook, I don't see why they can't take in Facebook posts as evidence.
Yeah. No, but it's really starting to look like that he was framed on this deal, and hopefully he gets his appeal. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of guys sitting in jail on very similar things. Be it the guilt the next day or just wanting to get even. And if a girl cries rape and lists you as a name, there's a lot of times that happens, and it actually did go down. And I know a lot of times women are embarrassed, ashamed to say something. I do know that it happens in communities where if it's a son of a well-to-do family, that it gets pushed under the carpet. But I also know from the poor side of the house, there's people sitting in jail on lies, and that's one of those that a lot of times you're, from our environment, guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of times, at least a male perspective, because let's face it, I mean, it's a touchy subject to talk about. And we saw even Todd Aiken get himself in a world of political trouble, pretty much committed political suicide with one of his statements regarding rape and abortion and all that good stuff. But it's predominantly in our society, you deal with the rape charges come from the female, not the male. I don't know of a guy who's ever claimed rape. And I don't know, there's an ongoing joke among guys that is that even possible for a girl to rape the willing kind of thing? How do you get an erection when you're being forced to have sex?
Some guys pay for it.
And there's some guys that want to have sex and can't have erection. It's how do you force an erection out of a guy? And I get there's two sides to that. It's a very open-ended question and conversation to have, but you're still dealing with, because the way the society is set up and the way we are is, if a gal cries rape, you have two different choices there. You can either be like, oh my God, we got to go lynch this guy and just beat the shit out of him and castrate him, or we've got to question her intentions here, and why is she claiming this now, and what are we sure this really happened? It's a very powerful accusation. Oh, you're right. Don't let the facts get in the way of your opinion.
Well, no, and I'm not going to mention his name, but we do have a common friend.
You can mention his nickname.
No, because there's a lot of people. But no,
wait, you say dirty now? A lot of people watching.
Yeah, well, the two people that are watching might. But he received a knock on his apartment door one Saturday morning, and it was two police officers. They asked him his name, and he told them, and they informed him that he's under arrest for rape. And his question was, of who? Well, sir, we can't tell you that because, they're protected. Well, was it last night? Sir, we can't tell you that. He goes, if it was last night, I have a video of it. If it was so-and-so, I have a video of it.
I can just picture of who. I can picture that being because one of those girls was willing.
Yeah. So anyway, according to him, the one of the phone to the prosecuting attorney, DA, whatever they are, and explained that he's got a video of last night. Yes, sir. So they go into his apartment, asked him to put the video in. They watched it while he's in his underwear, handcuffed in his living room between two cops. And they called back, said no, she's never said no. And they brought him, they allowed him to get dressed. And the videotape, they brought it down.
It was mighty kind of them.
And they talked to this girl about recanting her story. And she would not do it. She swears up and down and he raped her. They finally told her that he had a video of everything that happened the night before. And nowhere did she tell him no. Then she wanted to press charges against him for illegal videotaping her, which she was a law student then, and you can videotape anything in your house with nobody has to know, as long as you're not trying to sell it or distribute it.
I think there's still a certain amount of privacy expected in certain, like the bathroom, that kind of thing. I don't think you're allowed to even there, but it's. Yeah, I don't know the legal side. On the living room
couch, you probably don't have that expectancy.
Sure, people have security cameras in their house at times if they have a reason to have.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the only reason he's not a felon is because he was a pig.
Yep, I'd love to have him on the show sometime to talk about that story. But then you were talking as you extend.
He's got children now. I don't know if he'll openly talk about it.
But you were talking about this Tyler Cost kid. Well, now what about the Rolling Stone story? That rolls right into that. Rolling Stone, this gal, I think it was West Virginia University, claimed she was raped at a frat house years ago. And the frat house said, no, we don't think so. The police said, well, we'll look into it again. We didn't see anything wrong doing it at the time. Or I don't even know the full story there, but I know they're coming back now and saying that, hey, guess what? We're not finding any evidence of any wrongdoing, of any problem whatsoever. We're not seeing anything that tells us that this is a potential rape and we need to reopen this investigation. We need to find out who was all responsible. It smacks of the lacrosse team thing. I think it was at Duke a couple years ago, where it's an accusation that gets thrown out there. It's a very powerful accusation that changes people's lives. And now here we are 8, 10, 12 weeks later, something like that. Rolling Stone comes out this week and they totally backtrack and say, we're recanting, we're retrieving. We don't think it happened either now. And this is after every media outlet in America picked up the story and ran it as fact, saying Rolling Stone has reported in their story
there's
and
not
their
time
sources.
To check the facts when you're in a race for ratings. Anybody in the media knows that.
Oh, and that's the problem with journalists in America today.
They're so gung-ho to be first that
I cannot name a single news outlet or organization that I know, if they are the source of the story, I trust it to be accurate and I trust it to be unbiased. Not a single outlet on the internet, on television, anywhere can I say that about right now. The days of true journalism are gone.
You don't like the BBC?
I don't look at the BBC for my news. They don't cover the news that covers me here in America.
I check them out every now and then. I don't know how non-biased they are. They're British. They always have an opinion on something.
No, it's a different world. Is another beer just
You
floated
drink
my
way
way?
too much, sir.
Only on the liquor cabinet. That's the name of the show, pal. We got the keys to the liquor cabinet. I'm going to keep drinking.
Hope so. You kind of own the bar.
Well, that's only part of the deal, man. You don't have to buy a bar in order to drink. But I certainly appreciate if you guys would come by and drink with me. We're at Murphy's on 21, 13226 Tesson Ferry in beautiful southern South County, southern St. Louis County. Yeah. All right.
That just really sounds bad.
Which part?
The southern St. Louis County.
Northern St. Louis County may not be the
Sounds
place
worse.
you want to go. That's where Ferguson is, people.
Just north of Jefferson County. Hee
Half hour is a long way between two different parts of town.
Roscoe died, man.
Roscoe P. Coltrane.
Yeah.
So who's handling Flash?
Well, Flash was like there was like 8 different dogs that did that duty.
That makes sense because there were like 57 different General Lees. So
There's more than that.
was it? I thought they said it was like 57 or 58. And they just kept recycling them and rebuilding them as needed.
No, once they did the big jump with them, they couldn't rebuild them because they had to
Twist the frame and stuff.
Well, they put so much weight in the trunk, and the Charger's a unibody car, which is no frame on it. But they found the original one down in a Georgia wrecking yard, and it still had the concrete in the trunk. And when they land, the trunk, if you watch a lot of the old ones, you'll see the trunk just collapse down.
Didn't they often do the rainbow type jumps too on some of them?
Well, that's why they put the concrete in the trunk to keep the car flying level, because the big block Dodge is really heavy.
But weren't there a lot of them that did the rainbow jump and came down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Whereas a full art, I get what you're saying. A lot of them did come down the back way, but
yeah, enough to make me cringe since I've been looking for a '69 Charger forever. Not to make it generally, just 'cause it's a badass car.
No.
But
all
yeah,
right, we're down to our final 3 minutes, sir.
okay. My last thing, you guys were talking about.
God
this.
bless you, James Best, Roscoe P. Coltrane, one of the first law enforcement agents of my youth that I respected.
He was a good actor too. I loved him in Hooper.
Coo, 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 coo.
But anyway, the weight loss challenge.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit.
I have quit smoking and I've gained 11 pounds.
So you're losing.
Yeah.
I'm winning. I haven't lost any weight. I'm 11 pounds ahead of you.
Y'all kiss my ass. Luckily, we haven't made yet. So this might work out.
Oh, wait a minute. You quit altogether?
Smoking?
Solid?
I'd smoke a pipe at night every now and then.
A pipe?
I got a large pipe collection. You knew that.
I heard one girl once say you had a large pipe, but I didn't believe her.
Well, yeah. No, I've got several pipes, and I'm still waiting. I've had a brand new one for 10 years, and years from that I haven't smoked in it, which...
Now, are you one of the stinky pipe smokers, or do you have like a certain blend that's more tolerable? Or so I think what cherry and
here's the thing: the better a pipe tobacco tastes, the worse it smells. Better it smells, the worse it tastes.
The idea of wanting smoke to taste good just seems totally irrational.
No, there's I've got a cherry that it's nice, and again, I don't inhale a lot of it. It's the physical act of smoking and relaxing into the day since I quit smoking cigarettes for the most part. You'll still catch me with one every now and then, but I quit purchasing them. But yeah, that's about all I got.
Yeah. Well, we're coming up here on the end of the liquor cabinet. Another week in the books. It is April 8th, 2015. We've got just a few minutes left here.
If I wouldn't have gotten divorced, this would have been my 20-year anniversary today.
Wow.
And we bought that night.
Really? For what reason?
The wedding.
Oh.
I forgot sitting out there drinking all the Mad Dog?
Fuck no, I was drunk.
Yeah, my dad was drunk. That's how much alcohol.
Yeah, that was not my by a long shot.
No, but it remembers the Mad Dog in the cooler.
Yeah, well, hey, that's a Murphy family, a people Bocek family tradition.
I've done that at other weddings I've gone to. People look crazy. Idea.
The funerals, man. Weddings and funerals. And maybe even Polish Christmas parties. We'll see. Polish Christmas coming up for our family on the 25th of April. So.
That's Polish.
No gifts required. But
well, as always, I've got to pee.
Pee.
Why don't you roll that jazz and get out of here, man?
Wait, we have jazz?
Don't we?
Well, I guess maybe a little something to roll us out of here. All right, once again, you've been watching The Liquor Cabinet. Find us every week. Well, find us every week on liquorcabinettv.com. This show will be archived for posterity for the ages, or until we deem something politically important enough to say final words, anything?
We'll make the blank promise of nudity.
Next week.
That would only make me tune in.
Next week, I'm coming to us from Vegas live. Maybe there won't be a show next week. If I'm not here to get the echo going, I don't know. What are you guys going to do?
We'll talk about. We'll have a 2-hour show.
But I want to send in like video. That's the road that you can dream, baby. Diamond Plus Page. Bang!
Yeah, this is how you do it.
Jerry Briscoe, one tag team wrestlers of all time. He is, but he's damn good. And his promos were second. She'll probably be there too. Your leader, Melissa. That was obvious by the pictures we got. And the one I will delete is looking at boob, and then he's looking her in the eye in the second picture. They were staring at the boob.
She had a problem with me, and the cause that was
she had a problem. She wouldn't put her hands on her boob.
She had some class. I didn't.
I don't think she had.
Yeah, and
she might be a classy gal, but the character had.
Oh no, it's like I say, she was really what's her name? Yeah,
it was Karma in WWE.
The one that was fun to talk to, and then you get a chance to ever go to one.
caulifloweralley.org. If you have a chance to check it out, please check it out, everyone. It's the annual, and this one, 50th anniversary. 50th annual, so it's like
49th annual 50th anniversary.
no, by WWE.
Oh, by WWE, but yeah, 3.
Right, but it's the 50th Cauliflower Alley. Whether you call it 50th annual or 50th anniversary, there's been 49 before of them. And the biggest one yet. I'm hearing lots that this is going to be at, that they've got guests coming that are bigger and better than ever before. So they didn't even announce some of the. They announced it ahead of time. That people have never been a part of Cauliflower Alley jump on just to be in presence of these people. Going to happen, but it's not. I'm not going to wait until I get out there next Tuesday. Thanks again, everyone, for watching. It's the Liquor Cabinet. We're live on 21 Notes Wednesdays. LiquorCabinetTV.com. Check it out early.
I got it.
High five to that. That was good. See you guys. Have a great one. See you next time.